crowd. I'ma make it go wild. I'm original, and I told you so. I'm a kid in the candy store. Put the leather on the denim. I ain't the cure, I'm the venom. If you wanna find me, find the taillight. Something's coming in, you're gonna wanna take a red eye. It's time to go. It's time to go. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready.
There you go! There you go! Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagtangkilik. Pero ngayong hapon na ito, medyo delayed tayo sa YouTube. At Facebook at Rumble lang po muna tayong live. But when we have the chance, ilalagay din po namin ito sa Facebook later on kasi it's already the 18th episode at kayo mga sumusubaybay sa YouTube ay ayaw naman naming mahuli kayo. So, magandang pagbati po muli sa inyong lahat. Saan mang parte ng mundo kayo naroon at lalo na kung kayo malapit sa Israel, Palestine, actually, Palestine naman yan eh. Kailan lang yan naging Israel after World War II. Pero ngayon pong araw na ito, mga kabansa, ang ating paksa ay napakaseryoso. In fact, ang title po ng episode na ito ay Lead, Sara, Lead. Ayan po ang first slide natin. Lead, Sara, Lead. Replace the 7% president. Ayan. Pero bago agad tayo tumuloy, ay huwag nyo lamang kalilimutan na tatlo na ang aking libro, A Problem for Every Solution. Those of you who would like to endear yourself to what really binds the concept of China and the Philippines, yan po ang libro. If you want to know about the origins of the COVID-19, ayan po, no vaccine for a virus called racism. At kung kayo naman ay medyo homecoming, ika nga tungkol sa mga the demise of the EDSA revolution, the poverty of power po. No? But kung kayo o-order sa 0917-336-4366, ay pwede po nating i-bundle kung gusto nyo ng dalawa o tatlo. I can also give you the unit prices for this box. So, yan po ay mag-text lamang kayo sa 0917-336-4366. Maaaring nagtataka kayo kung ano nag-provoke ng ating title ngayon. Bibigyan ko kayo ng konting nexus sa mga nakaraang episode. Last week we said that since Bongbong Marcos took his oath of office on June 30, 2022, he had 11 travels to 14 countries. According to him, his intentions was to raise foreign direct investments, or FDI. Such, I assume, was under the advice of his advisors to create economic opportunities to bring in new money, jumpstart jobs creation, and curb runaway inflation. And I would say that these are very noble motives. But as you know, ladies and gentlemen, the road to hell is also peppered with the right intentions or with the good intentions. And the Presidential Communications Office even trumpeted a total of 3.4 trillion in pledges. But so far, nothing has happened. Kulela tayo sa foreign direct investments among our closest neighbors, and we're not even 1/10 of what Singapore got. Singapore was tops at 141 billion, Indonesia 21.4, Vietnam 17.9, Malaysia 15, Thailand 10.2, and the Philippines only got a measly 9.4. But you would say that since 2022 was still close to the pandemic, and this was still towards the end of the beginning rather of the pandemic recovery, 9.4 might not be too bad. However, when we got into 2023, mga kabansa, another 20% drop for the first half of 2023, and if that continues, my estimate would be 7.5 billion only, while our neighbors increase theirs. The question is, what is causing all this? What have you been doing since May 2023, Mr. Marcos? Ever since your travel to Washington, D.C., you turned 180 degrees from what you promised the electorate of a continuity of the Build program. In fact, you said you will build more, BBM, build more. But what you built is actually what you are building are 4 additional American bases, 2 in Cagayan province, 1 in Isabela, and an additional in Palawan. Now if you tell me, which idiot will invest in a war-bound country? But since this is your emphasis, let us see if you are in the right direction. And it looks that you are not. Your rating compared to June 23 on September 23, you dropped by 15 points on your approval rating, and on your trust rating, you dropped 11 points. This is according to you because of the rice problem. You are in denial of the mess you have created, blaming rice and telling the people, I don't care about what you think. Yun ang sinabi nyo. And I am not inventing things here. So let's go to the first tape to see whether he said it or not.
It's not surprising. People are having a hard time. Because yung hirap na bigas ito eh. Ibang usapan pag bigas. It's different from anything else, any other agricultural product. I completely understand it. And that's why we're working very, very hard to make sure that this comes up again. Not because of the survey. That's not important to me. What's important to me is that we make sure that people have enough to eat and that it is affordable to them.
Well, what is not important to you? The survey? That is how the people think. And the people are telling you what has been going on. Because if you go through household expenditures spent for the past 3 months, you will see that rice is not the only problem. Food, 95%, all right, but 83% rice, but also 61% other foods aside from rice. So rice is, even in the food category, rice is not the only problem. May problema tayo sa sibuyas. May problema tayo sa asukal. And then, electricity is very high, 62%. That's a wake-up call to your Energy Secretary, Lutilia, who is a tao ni Aboitian. Paano na ngayon yan? And gasoline and diesel is also high, 2 digits, 22. If you add that to 62 of energy, that would be 84. But again, we're not getting there. Huh? Do something about that, because again, your friend Enrique Razon may not have the same ideas as yours. Medicine and other health needs, 17. Water, 15. Transportation, all of these are double digits. So that Cielito Habito, in his column at the Inquirer, said, one gets the sinking feeling that we're doing everything wrong at the worst of times. Now let's go deeper into our analysis and find that it's the economy, stupid, as they say it. Your war that accelerated when you visited the United States, we really don't know what happened after you did that. That's your secret, and that belongs to you. Hindi na ho namin pakikialaman kung ano ang motibasyon ninyo. Pero ang gera ninyo, eto sa baba, defending the integrity of the Philippine territory against foreigners is only 7% urgent national concern. At 7%, I don't even consider it urgent. But what is the people's war? Asan po ang sambayan ng Pilipino? Controlling inflation, 74%. Increasing the pay of workers, 49%. Creating more jobs, 27%. Reducing the poverty of many Filipinos, 25%. And then they go into the character of your governance, fighting graft and corruption in government. They see graft and corruption, and they are already burdened by these 4 major economic concerns. And when they look at the streets, fighting criminality, 16%. And then the next is again economic, addressing the problem of involuntary hunger and providing assistance to farmers, including selling their products. What have you done for the Filipino farmers? Coincidentally, you may not realize it, but you are the Secretary of Agriculture. So it seems that your war, Mr. Marcos, is different from the people's war. That is not just about rice, Mr. President. It is not even about inflation anymore. When we see you with Ma Rojas, I think the problem is you. You have put our economic welfare in the back burner as you push the country to a clear and present danger of being dragged into a U.S.-China war. You have become the president of only 7% of the people. Your mistakes started even before you were elected. In gross violation of the election law, your wife brokered the deal with Smartmatic. However, Glenn Chong blew the whistle on her, and Eliseo Rio caught the fake machine count. When you were elected, you partied in a room full of your magnificent 7 oligarchs and cronies. Nothing wrong with indulging in some wine, Mr. President. But you gave Sabina Boitis a 20 billion behest loan from Land Bank for renewable energy projects and favored Enrique Razon with a 15-year renewal for Malampaya without consideration for the government. Did it ever occur to you that this might be impeachable offenses? Then you and your wife's friends were associated with smugglers, hoarders, sugar, even onions. And there is even a perception that you are fleecing the Philippine charity sweepstakes. Wala kami naririnig. Wala kayong explanation na binibigay. you confiscated rice from 4 alleged smugglers, but we don't see any cases being filed. And the most notorious of smugglers, who has been seen in pictures with Lisa Araneta, your spouse, has not been included. Is it because Michael Mas' partner is Martin Araneta, the brother of Lisa? Nagtatanong lang po kami. Kasi ito mga bumabagabak, may perception ng corruption. No? At yung inyong maternal cousin also became intoxicated with power and later went indiscreet about dispensing patronage funds using his speakership of the lower house. The speaker's hubris went amok when he pulled the rug under the feet of former President Gloria Arroyo, removing her as senior deputy speaker, a miscalculation that provoked Vice President Sara Duterte to resigning her chairmanship of your supermajority Lakas Party. The scandal exposed the plot that the speaker, your cousin, was also secretly forming a new coalition with Partido Federal. And Alvi Benitez's kilusan na nagkakaisang Pilipino and the leftist Makabayan Bloc. Ayan ang picture. Romualdez meets the Makabayan Bloc. And hindi na nakita yung iba pang nasa lamesa, pero nandito si Gabriela Arlene Brosas and former party list representative Ted Casino. If this was the Congress's business, bakit nandiyan si Ted Casino? Hindi na congressman niya. So taking the offensive, the speaker has been collaborating with the yellows, the pinks, and the reds. And what, of all things, recently to demonize Sara Duterte by fueling disinformation about confidential funds the president transferred to her. Nilipat lang ho yan. Those are presidential funds. Pinagamit lang ho ng presidente. And I think that is within the powers of the president. Bakit kayo nagagalit sa vice-presidente? Wala naman kayong nilalabas na anomalya. Wala naman kayong binibintang na matibay na besides innuendo na korupsyon. Napakabilis daw ng paggastos. So what? Diski ba one day lang yan kung tama pinamtahan? Anong problema doon? And last September 28, ayan, binalikan ng pinsan ninyo si Arroyo. Electric consumer advocates recycled the plunder case against her involving malampaya funds of all. Even the complainant already acknowledged that former Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales had earlier dismissed charges against the accused on the grounds that her role merely was to authorize the disbursement of the fund and that she had no involvement whatsoever in the subsequent alleged misappropriation. Plunder po. Plinander nyo na naman si Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Ano ba ang plano ninyo? Pag-retire na lang si GMA sa Veterans Memorial Hospital? Sobra naman yata yan. Walang kadadahilanan. Anong kadadahilanan? Maybe mamaya makakabistuhan tayo. But it seems your cronies in the energy sector, Sabina Boitis and Enrique Razon, are not sleeping either and have joined the chorus to politically assassinate your or your relatives' perceived enemies. But this is nowhere in the vicinity of what I mentioned earlier. When you turn 180 degrees on your visit to Joe Biden, tumalikod po kayo sa promise continuity ng program ni Presidente Duterte ng post-pandemic economic recovery at binigyan nyo ng priority ang proxying for American war games in East Asia. And then you permitted your dogs to hound anti-EDCA protesters like Governor Manuel Mamba of Cagayan, whose only interest is to preserve the people's standing, development, and people-to-people and business-to-business projects with China. And when Senator Robin Padilla set records straight during the Senate hearings in order to prevent escalation of the tensions involving resupply missions to Ayungin Shoal, in the process exposing the American interference in the use of U.S. Navy Poseidon warplane, your trolls feasted on him in social media. But Mr. Marcos, the truth will always set this nation free. But you said nothing. You stopped nothing. You don't even stop your monsters from feasting on Sara. Nagdamay ka pa. Kumuha ka ng 1.23 billion in confidential funds, hindi lang sa Office of the Vice President, DepEd, pati sa DA. Akala ko ba manghuhuli kayo ng smugglers? Bakit aalisan nyo ng confidential funds yan? DICT. Paano natin malalaman ng mga pagdaraya lalo na sa eleksyon? At DFA, which is in charge of our foreign policy. Pero para pilayan nyo lamang, pilayan nyo lamang si Inday Sara, gumawa pa kayo ng alibi to assert the Philippines' territorial rights in the West Philippine Sea. Again, part of your 7% presidency. Kaya, eto, mga kabansa, nagalit si Harry Roque. Pakinggan natin si Harry Roque.
Sige, siwalat natin kung magkano ang proyekto ng mga speaker at magkano ang mga kinikita nyo sa kada piso na ginagastos para sa infra. Gusto nyo? Personal knowledge yan. Hindi ako gaya ni Sas na nagtatanong. Karanasan ko. Nakita ko personal. Itigil ang kasinungalingan. Ang katotohanan, tinatarget nyo si VP Sara dahil siya'y banta sa 2028. No other way of explaining it. Mahiya kayo. Dahil bakit si VP Sara lang ang tinarget nyo? Hindi mga sarili ninyo. Diba? Kung talagang kayo ay nagmamahal sa bayan, kung talaga kayo, dais nyong ibigay ang pondo sa West Philippine Sea, yung sarili ninyong mga miscellaneous funds, ibigay nyo para sa West Philippine Sea. Huwag yung sasabihin you are on the right side of history, tatanggalin yung isang opisina lang ng Vice President, pero yung sa inyo, tatago nyo pa rin. Hypocrisy that is the right word for you. Right place of history, mahiya ka nga dyan. Wala ka nga dyan liquidation ngayon sa House Pirma lang kayo ng pirma dyan. Certification lang ang kailangan dyan. Tapos, ang gagaling, we are on the right side of history. Anong right side of history? Parang mali ang history alam mo. Sige kayo. Huwag niyo akong hamunin. Ako nakikisama. Dahil minsan nga ako yan ang kultura dyan Makisama ka, kaya tahimik ka dyan. Pero huwag kayong magsisinungaling at huwag nyo kayong asahan na mananahimik yung mga taong nakakaalam talaga kung anong patakaran dyan sa House. Magpakatotoo po tayo lahat. Lahat kayo, kailangan nyo niyang confidential fund. Bakit? Lahat kayo mga politiko namimigay na kung ano-anong pera kung kani-kanino. Pipilayin nyo lang yung kalaban, kaya tatanggalan ninyo. Pero at least si VP Sara, wala pong aligasyon yan na magarbong buhay. Ang bahay niya sa Maynila, inupahan. Wala namang aligasyon na meron siya mga magarbong bahay. Wala man lang nagsasabi na kinukurakot niya. Kayo, gusto niyo ba mga congressman? Siwalat natin lahat. Tigil po ang hypocrisy. Magpakatotoo kayo lahat dyan. At saka, dapat sundin natin yung tinatawag na nilang due process of law. Equal protection of the law. Kung tatanggalin ang confidential funds dahil kinakailangan doon sa West Philippine Sea, lahat tanggalin. Huwag mag-single out ng isang opisyalis lamang. Dahil pag nag-single out, obvious na mumuliti ka.
Teka. Kung banat kayo ng banat hindi nyo naman, kaya nagagalit si Harry Roque sa inyo, hindi nyo naman sinasabi Puro kayo inuwendo. saan ba napunta yung confidential funds? Tingnan nga natin kung saan nagpunta. Ha? Baka naman maganda ang kinalagyan yan. Ha? Play natin to.
Gamitin niya ang pera. It's only 125 million. Gamitin niya sa mga PMT. Palakasin niya sa high school. Pati ibalik talaga niya yung ROTC. Ipilit niya. So make it compulsory. But that would be a long process kasi matagal na kasing nawala yung compulsory ROTC. So sabi niya pa, I would like to have a soft landing. Kasi ayaw ng mga bata. Alam mga bata, gusto inom, suroy, ganun. Hindi na alam yung at least a little amount, space, and time na magkaroon sila ng sense of love of country, ganun. So papasok ito sa ROTC. Ang sinabi niya, ngayon, hindi ito madalaki, mapilit ka agad. You have to have a soft landing. Sabi niya, seminar muna bago sa enrollment o dalhin sa kampo yung mga bata, field trip muna nila, continuous yan para makita ng mga bata kung ito yung mga kanyo natin, yung pahawakan sila ng tangke de guerra, gano'n. Pasakayin sila sa eroplano. Yun ang plano niya. Na sinabi niya, yung PMT naman sa high school pa lang, gusto niyang palakasin. Sabi ko, Day, how many PMTs there are in the Philippines? How many ROTC? Magiging ka lang 125 million. So, ito, sabi niya, seminar mo lang ito, mga ano yung, make it as soft as it could ever be. Hindi man naintindihan ng mga komunista yan. Kaya sabi ko sa kanya, magprangka ka na lang. Itong intelligence fund na ito, gagamitin ko para sa utak ng Pilipino kasi ito ang target ko, kayong mga komunista nandyan sa Congress. Pati kayong mga komunista dyan.
Ano nirereklamo ninyo? Ito pala ay part ng social preparation for citizens' military training as part of the educational system. We will go into more like that later. But, kinuha ninyo, nire-allocate nyo yung confidential funds niya. Alright, ha? Bakit hindi nyo binigay yung confidential funds ninyo mga congressmen, mga senators? Hindi nagalaw. Sa lower house, 1.6 billion confidential funds plus 2 billion travel expenses. Pero sabi ni Speaker, wala kaming confidential funds. Sabi ni Senate President Subiri, wala kaming confidential funds. Naku, mga kabansa, wala daw. Alam din kung bakit? Dahil ang tawag nila, extraordinary funds. But they are actually treated by the accounting guidelines as confidential funds according to COA guidelines. Pero mayroon pang mas sekreto sa confidential, mga kabansa. Secret funds. Ano yan? Yan palang maintenance and other operating expenses, MOOE, ng buong Kongreso at buong Senado is classified. Ibig sabihin, secret, pirma lamang ng congressman at proseso, certification lamang ng opisina ng Speaker o ng Senate President ang kailangan. Ano ang konklusyon? Lahat pala ng pondo ng Senado, lahat pala ng pondo ng Kongreso, ng lower house, ay hindi lamang confidential, kundi classified funds. Walang liquidation required. Walang mga resibo, mga kabansa. So kung halimbawa 300 billion yan, para natin silang binigyan ng blank check para tuksuin silang nakawin yan. Hindi ko naman sinasabing ninakaw nila yan. Pero nakakatukso, mga kabansa. Biro ninyo. They can treat it as their pocket money at basta pipirmahan lamang. Okay na. So in the process, thanks to, by the way, Rogando Sasso, who has exposed this, and binerify na ni Harry Roque, binerify na ni President Digong. Monumental corruption in our legislature. Eto, si Digong, ibabalik natin.
Putang ina. Kayo ang maraming pinaka. Alam mo, pag mag-liquidate ka, ano yung asking? Mag-liquidation tayo and you will find out what is the most rotten institution dito. You will find out it's Congress. Walang limit ang ano nila dyan. Yung pork barrel, pati yan si Romualdez. He's wallowing alam mo kasi, ayaw ko kung bakit, ano niya si Inday. Si Inday naman is perceived to be a good candidate. But I'm saying now that Inday, as far as I'm concerned, should not run for president. Tama na yung vice president. Maganda na yan. Ibigay na niya sa iba. This Romualdez, speaker, yan ang sige bigay ng mga congressman, pinabusog nila lahat. Pero sabi ko, mag-audit tayo. Because the speaker is poised to be or to run for president. Well and good. Gusto ko ikaw ang mapresidente. Kasi noon kaibigan kita, wala pa yan si Marcos, nakakampanya pa. May parang sinasabi ka na gusto mo. Sabi ko, okay. I was not thinking of my daughter. Perceive lang yan siya to be a good candidate. Pero tuluyan ko na, ikaw na, Romualdez. Pero maghigi ako ng audit. Ngayon, kung hindi ibigay sa atin yan, I will ask everybody, from the farmer to the businessman, to the church people, to every Filipino, to every soldier and policeman, that we all demand that we open the liquidation. Lahat para malaman rin namin kung paano ninyo winaldas ang pera namin.
Oops. Mr. President. Teka muna dahil people power na yan eh. Relax lang muna, no, ha? Ilatag lang muna natin ang maayos ito. By starting to ask, sino ba sa gabinete ni Presidente Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ang alam ninyo na transparent kung ano ang gusto niyang gawin sa kanyang opisina? Sino? Meron ba silang mga visioning and missioning? Meron ba silang paglalatag ng mga programa? At habang nailatag na ang programa, meron ba silang mga behikulo o roadmaps para maabot given the timeline, sa loob ng, well, ilan na lang titira hanggang 2028. For ano na lang, 9 months, ba? Malayo pa pala. Ha? Mula nung umupo sila, anong programa nila? Oh. Ang narinig ko lang na programa dyan, ha? Ay ang Maharlika Fund na hanggang ngayon, ha? Yung sourcing ng pondo, ha? Nanggaling pa sa taong bayan, sa pera ng taong bayan. So, ang sabi nga ng mga ibang ekonomista, lalo na yung una niyang in-appoint sa Central Bank na pinaltan niya because he disagreed with the Maharlika Fund. Ano sabi? Pera rin ng tao yan eh. At yung perang inutang. Inutang para pera ng tao sa buwis o perang inutang para sa mga proyekto, programa for government programs para makabuild more ka. BBM. Anyari? Ano nangyari na? Ano nang nangyari na sa Maharlika Fund? Ha? Relax kayo dyan. Ha? Alam niyo, ilalagay daw sa stock market yan. Meron akong alam na 700 million na inutang ng isang oligarch sa gobyerno. Ha? Nag-invest ang gobyerno, nag-placement. 700 or 800 million. Ngayon, presyo ng kanyang investment sa shares of stock is I think only about 200 to 300 million. Natatalo na ng mga 500 million ng gobyerno sa placement na yon. Dahil lamang isang dating Speaker of the House, at ngayon is senador ang may-ari ng kumpanyang yon na pinag-imbesta. Teka muna. Meron ba kayong alam? Department of Transportation, saan tayo dadalhin? Ang traffic pa rin sa EDSA. Asa na modernization? Magkakagulo. May worldwide strike being scheduled for next week. Ang mga motorista, mga taxi driver, jeepney driver, bus driver, yung mga nagbibiyahe dyan. Sa agriculture, huwag na natin pag-usapan. Baka makapantal-pantal lang ako. Anong defense? Saan pupunta ang ating defense? Ha? Tingin ko nga Armed Forces of the United States na yan eh. Ha? Dahil ang inuuna ay prioridad ng Estados Unidos. Ha? Saan? Ano pa mga ibang departamento dyan? Public Works, meron ba kayong naririnig na hindi in continuation of the Duterte programs? Tourism, asan ang tourism na yun? Is there any extraordinary thing happening in any cabinet that you know that could possibly save us from where we are right now? In this, Shinito, habito, ayoko na i-quote ka ulit. There is only one department, ladies and gentlemen, na 8 months ago pa, alam na niya. Alam na ng department na niya kung saan siya papunta. Ano ang problema? Ano ang solusyon? Saan tayo papunta? Paano tayo makakarating? Kailan tayo makakarating at ano epekto niyan sa kinabukasan ng ating bansa? Hindi lamang ikakatanyag natin, kundi ikaaangat pang ating bayan. Show the slide. Vice President Inday Sara has always maintained a low profile. Dito ka nagkamali, Speaker. Ha? Dito kayo nagkamali, kayong mga komunista dyan sa Kongreso. In deference to the President. But what the nation does not know, dahil hindi nyo naman, yung mga political ambitions ninyo, inuuna nyo, may isa pang kalbo, naglagay ng billboard dyan sa EDSA, patungkol dun sa 7% agenda. Hindi patungkol dun sa 74% economic, kundi doon sa gera agenda. Patubo ka muna ng buhok, sir. Hindi namin kung saan mo dadali ng bayan. Pero sa Department of Education, she is the only one within the Marcos cabinet, Inday, as Secretary of Education, the only secretary who has not only accurately analyzed the problems of our salin lahi, the next generations of students, but has delivered structural reforms in her area of responsibility. Who else have done that? Who else has also provided roadmaps up to 2028 and beyond? And most of all, what were the very incisive and surgical principles that went into the plan? Intended to position our young minds to world competitiveness throughout the 21st century. Alam nyo ba yan? Well, ipaalam namin sa inyo ngayon kung gaano ang restructuring, reform, magdadala sa ating mga kabataan to a better future. Ito po ang video cut.
Inilunsad na ng Department of Education o DepEd nitong Huwebes ang binagong Kinder to Grade 10 curriculum o matatag K-10. Layunin nito na i-decongest ang kasalukuyang curriculum at bawasan ng mga subject na nagpapahirap hindi lamang sa mga mag-aaral kundi maging sa mga guro.
One of the issues discovered was that the curriculum was overloaded with too many lessons or subjects. The curriculum required instructors to teach an excessive number of learning competencies with very limited time available for instruction. Both teachers and learners were overburdened with lessons and other school tasks and activities.
Sa ilalim ng matatag K-10, magiging 5 na lamang ang subjects para sa unang 2 taon sa elementarya mula sa dating 7 subjects. Para sa grade 1, mayroong language subject, reading and literacy, mathematics, makabansa at good manners and right conduct o GMRC. Pagdating ng grade 2, papalitan ng Filipino at English ang language at reading and literacy subjects. Idaragdag naman ang science pagtungtong ng grade 3, kaya magiging 6 na ang subjects. Pagdating naman grades 4 to 6, madadagdagan pa ito ng 2 subjects. Technology and Livelihood Education o TLE at MAPE o Music Arts, Physical Education and Health. 8 rin ang subjects mula sa grade 7 hanggang grade 10 pero papalitan na ng Values Education and GMRC. Ayon kay Vice President Sara Duterte, isasama na rin sa mga subjects ang Peace Education.
The new K-10 curriculum will integrate peace competencies, highlighting the promotion of nonviolent actions and the development of conflict resolution skills in our learners.
Nilinaw naman ni DepEd Undersecretary Michael Powa, hindi aalisin ang paggamit ng mother tongue sa pagtuturo. Pero aalisin na ito bilang subject dahil nagkakaroon ng kalituhan sa mga mag-aaral at guro, lalo na sa parte ng Luzon. dahil itinuturo ng asignaturang Filipino, pagkatapos ay itinuturo rin ang mother tongue na Tagalog o Filipino din. Sisimula ng implementasyon ng bagong curriculum sa susunod na taon para sa mga mag-aaral sa kinder at grades 1, 4 at 7, habang ang grade 2, 5 at 8 ay lilipat sa bagong curriculum sa school year 2025 to 2026. Sa school year 2026 to 2027 naman, mag-shift ang grades 3, 6 at 9, at ang grade 10 sa school year 2027 to 2028. Paliwanag ng DepEd na uunti-unti nila ang implementasyon ng K-10 curriculum upang makapag-adjust ng maayos sa mga mag-aaral at mga guro at maihanda ang learning materials na gagamitin.
Magiging matatag pong lalo ang ating mga bata sapagkat sila ay inihahanda na po sa kanilang mga magiging trabaho sa future. At tayo po ay magiging globally competitive dahil ang mga skills po na ide-develop sa ating mga anak ay talagang 21st century skills.
Ayan mga kabansa, napakaswerte ng mga estudyante na nasa public school system ngayon. Because ngayon, ako ho ay product ng private school. No? I came from San Beda, and during our time, we were very highly competitive with Ateneo, LaSalle, UP, UST. Ganyan. Pero ito'y nakikita ko na napakagandang balita. Dahil ito ay, yung pong aming education is already passé. Iba na ho ang realidad ngayon sa mundo. Ang una kong nakita dyan ay yung GMRC. Binalik nila ang GMRC. And ano po yan? Good manners and right conduct. Para po yung mga Korean students, walang masyadong load sa simula. Ang kanilang kabutihang asa lamang in the initial grades and spatterings of yung mga academics. Pero habang lumalaon, ito po ay mag-evolve into value formation. Why? Dahil kung makatao yung GMRC sa value formation, makadiyos ang Pilipino. Kristiyano, Muslim, Protestante, o kung ano man ang pinanghahawakan yung paniniwala. Value formation, importante. Na kumapit tayo sa puong may kapal. Ang isa pang nakita ko dyan ay itong STEM. Meron na pong science, technology, engineering, TLE. Kung tawagin nila TLE. Emphasis on science para mas maging competitive. Dahil dyan po tayo talon-talo ng mga other Asian countries, specifically China and India. No? Napakagaling po nila yan sa fields na yan. Pero ang pinakamaganda ko pong narinig ay yung subject na makabansa. Makabansa. Ibig sabihin, hindi lamang tuturuan noong maaari pa silang malisya na mga may ibang ideolohiya tungkol sa nasyonalismo, pero ito pong makabansa ay nation building. Hindi ba napakaganda niyan? Hindi ba kayo matutuwa niyan, mga kabansa? Na ang inyong anak, pag pinasok nyo sa, pag pinasok ninyo sa public school, ay makakamit ang level na yan. Makabansa. At narinig nyo ba yung sinabi ni Vice President Sara Duterte? Narinig nyo ba? Peace, competency, values of conflict resolution that is non-violent. My God! Napakataas ng pilosopiya ni Madam. Para yan na ipasok niya at yan niya ililink yung confidential funds na dapat mapunta sa preparatory military training at sa Reserve Officers Training Corps. Yung bang mga kongresista na yan na ang daming tanong, ay naglaylay lamang ng patibong para magkamali ang ating Vice Presidente, Secretary ng Edukasyon? Ay, hindi naman sila pinatulan. Ang sabi pa niya, dito sa 122nd Police Service Anniversary Celebration sa PNP Regional Office 13 noong October 4, the allocation of confidential funds should not be constrained by time. It matters not whether it takes 1 day or 1 year of spending. What truly matters is the safety and security of our people. Hindi ba yan yung 7% mo, Mr. Marcos, defending the sovereignty of this country? Eh bakit mo pinayagan yan? Pag dumaan sa lamesa mo yan, ibito mo. Kung sino man ang kumukontra, anya, sa confidential funds ay kumukontra sa kapayapaan. Kung sino ang kumukontra sa kapayapaan ay kalaban ng bayan. Yan po ang manifestasyon kung gaano ang maturidad ng kaisipan at kung gaano ka-organisado sa kanyang sistema, sa kanyang pag-iisip, sa kanyang pagtatrabaho ang ating pangalawang Pangulo at Sekretary ng Edukasyon. Nandyan po mga deliverables. Kung gusto nyong i-replay, nandyan po sa UNTV ang nag-feature nung summarization ng program na yan. Napakaganda. And it's worth looking forward. It's worth looking for kind of investment that the government should put in education. Meron ba kayong nakita doon sa mga urgent national concern about education? Wala. Because it is not a concern. It is in the hands of the most qualified and the most courageous and the most capable leader that we have right now in this country at this point in time. Let us listen to her appeal. We need a national commitment.
We need a national commitment and sustained effort from all sectors of the society. Together, we will rally for an improved learning system in the country. Together, we will rally for every Filipino child para sa isang matatag na bayan, para sa ating mahal na Pilipinas. Ang lahat para sa Diyos, sa bayan, at bawat pamilyang Pilipino. Shukran.
Thank you.
Shukran, Inday. Nasa likod mo kami. Huwag kang lilingon dahil may mga kumakalabit kaliwat kanan sa iyo. Huwag kang matakot. Marami pa silang patibong na ilalagay sa iyong harapan. Pero alam namin that you are destined for greater challenges for this country. Alam namin that you have been prepared properly. Hindi katulad ng mga iba dyan, na dahilan sa anak sa layaw, ay karaniway hubad. At hindi lang yon, nagpupulburon pa. Sabi ni Maharlika. Nasa iyo ang aming respeto. Alam namin At ito'y derechahan na. Nananalo lamang ang Pangulong nakaupo dyan sa Malacanang ngayon dahil nagbigay ka at pinabayaan mo siya ang umuna at ikaw ang umupo sa huli para maitulak mo siya sa tagumpay. Pero kung saan tayo dinadala, hindi natin malaman. But we will refuse a 7% president. We want a 101 presidency. We want to know where you are taking us, whoever occupies that position. We want to know how you will bring us from this present malaise na napakahirap ng buhay to the prosperity that you promise us nang sinabi mong sama-sama tayo sa pagbangon. Pero saan mo kami iniwan? Bakit puro politika na ang nauuna ngayon? Bakit wala kang sinasabi? I'm not even heard a defense from your end for what is happening to your vice president. This is not good. Para bang same old na lamang. Ang hirap ng buhay ngayon. Dahil hindi ekonomiya ang nauuna, kundi gera. At hindi tayo nakasukob ngayon sa magbibigay sa atin ng magandang kinabukasan bilang isang bansa. Pinakita na ng nakaraang Pangulo kung saan dapat nandun niya, kung saan dapat ilagay natin ang ating pagtitiwala para tayo magkaroon ng matiwasay at prosperidad. Hindi para sa atin, para sa mga anak natin, apo at salinlahi. Sa pagtingin natin sa kinabukasan, meron bang pag-asa? Ang pag-asa ay nagkikita lamang at nagbubunga lamang doon sa mga nakikita natin na nangyayaring realidad ngayon. Pero tayo ay, ang agenda ay para bang sumusob sa gera, lumusob sa gera. At dikit tayo ngayon sa isang bansa na wala nang maibibigay sa atin kung hindi gera. Wala pong prosperidad. Wala pong development kung walang kapayapaan. Kaya, ang sinasabi ko sa inyo at ang huling pagsalita ko, I am appealing to the Vice President. Lead, Sara, lead. Ayan, binibigay na naman sa iyo ni Juan de la Cruz ang sapatos mo para ikaw ay tumakbo. Pero sa kadahilan ng wala namang eleksyon, yung sapatos na yan ay isusuot mo para itaguyod at itulak pa ng mas mabilis ang progreso kung saan ka bibigyan ng Panginoon ng responsibilidad para sa bansang ito. Lead, Sara, lead. Ha? Huwag ka nang lumingon. Ha? Baka paglingon mo maging asin pa ang kinabukasan ng lahat. Ha? Huwag naman. Pagbigyan mo na kami ngayon. Dahil kung hindi ka tutulong, kung hindi ka lulutang, kung hindi ka magpapakita rin ng liderato ngayon, baka mawala na ng pag-asa ang sambayan ng Pilipino. At ayoko namang sabihin na yung sinasabi ng iyong ama ay magkakaroon at magkakatotoo. Dahil kung magagawa naman natin sa pamamagitan ng kapayapaan, sa pamamagitan ng pagkakaisa, gawin natin. Pero ako, ay naniniwala na tayo'y makakarating dyan dahil tayo ay wala sa puwersa ng mga nagdi-divide and rule, ng mga namumulitika. Wala tayo sa puwersa ng mga nagnanakaw sa gobyerno ngayon at sa taong bayan. Nasa tuwid tayo, nasa katotohanan tayo, maging issue lokal, nasyonal, o pansandaigdigan. Maraming salamat mga kabansa sa inyong pagtangkilik. Ito po ang inyong lingkod, ang Maestro, Paglinawan, na nagsasabi sa inyo na sumama na kayo rito. Lead! Sara! Lead! Maraming salamat po.